Among Christian artists creating today, I think of Andrew Peterson as one of the most creative. He has produced some of my favorite worship songs, and he is a maker of all kinds of art, including having written a set of beloved books called The Wing Feather Saga. When Andrew joined me on the Good Faith podcast, I asked him about the nature of creativity. I thought he would illustrate his answer by talking about how he creates his art, but he was passionate about not connecting creativity with artists.
Creativity is not the domain of the artist. The creativity is the domain of the human, because we are made in the image of a creative God. So Tolkien said that we're sub-creators. We are little creators underneath the big creator. So in that sense, I think it starts with just reminding yourself that you were made by a creative God to be a kingdom builder. Our natural state is to build kingdoms. And the question that we have to wrestle with is, whose kingdom are we building? And the way we're participating in the building of God's kingdom is just by being who we are in Christ. And so there's a whole lot of lessons that come, whether you're building a spreadsheet or you're planning a conference or you're a homeschool parent or you're a pastor writing a sermon.
I think that Andrew's idea that every single one of us, whether we are an engineer, a teacher, or a business executive, or any other role, is creative, is really inspiring. It means that every single one of us can understand our work in the biblical narrative, because we are all creating something as a sub-creator to God's creation. This is why in Genesis 2:19-20, it insists that human beings are meant to be involved in God's creation. He gives humans as their first task the act of naming the animals, which is an act of creation. Humans are meant to be a sub-creator, engaging in creative tasks under God's overall direction. I then asked Andrew, given this biblical framework, what then should we expect about our work today?
So all that to say, we live in a broken world and we are broken people, and it doesn't always work like you want it to. So the second thing I would say is, don't be surprised when the creative process is difficult. I used to think that if I'm trying to make something or realize some vision and I'm being met with resistance, that means I'm doing something wrong. When actually, I think that that's part of the deal. It's like thorns and thistles infest the ground, and you're going to plant a whole lot of things and not all of them are going to grow.
This idea of thorns and thistles affecting our work is certainly biblical. It's drawn from Genesis 3:17-28, which reads, "To Adam, he said, because you ate fruit from the tree about which I commanded you, you must not eat from it. Cursed is the ground because of you. It will produce thorns and thistles for you." That passage is a massive bummer. That term, thorns and thistles, is meant to capture the frustration that so much characterizes human work. Think about any project, organization, or individual endeavor of yours. Even at its best, you cannot escape this sense of frustration. Andrew is talking about the fall, the ways that human sin continually frustrates our work. So, if our work suffers from perpetual thorns and thistles, why do we still persist? What makes creative work still worth it, given all the resistance?
The Lord redeems that, and we end up, wonderfully realizing how dependent we are on Him, and then it allows us to rejoice when the thing made has a good life. It means that we've planted the seed, but God made it grow, so He gets the credit. I tell young songwriters this, that when you are learning to be a songwriter, there's the song that you're writing, but the real thing that's being written is you. The process is God is doing something to you and shaping you into His likeness in some way through the struggle of trying to make a work of art. And that ultimately is going to pass away in some sense, where you're going to live forever.